Greetings, beloved, and welcome to our Wholesome Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us on the Mercy Abounds channel. Today, we are on the book of 1 Kings chapter 10. Welcome back, welcome back. Let's gather here. So today, we're talking about the Queen of Sheba. Listen, this woman has got some nuggets that we really need as ladies, right, and gentlemen. So this woman hears about Solomon. Of course, the fame of Solomon has spread across. So this woman decides, you know what, I've heard so much about this man. Let me rather go in person and see this man for myself and witness what they are talking about him. And also have a chance to sit at his feet and drink from this fountain. So she organizes the trip. She decides to go. This woman gets to Solomon's palace. She is carrying gold. She's got spices. She has spices, more spices, and a lot of spices that Solomon has ever received from anyone. That's how much. This is a lady. Of course, she will carry more spices than any other. So this lady also with her, she brings gold. Solomon, we are told that when she's going there, she tells herself she is going to ask him the hard questions, right? And get to see if he is able to answer. But remember, Solomon has got wisdom. Of course, he will be able to answer. Solomon answers. And this woman is excited, right? And as she's seeing between the chef serving food and the food on the table and the cutlery and the dinnerware on the serving tables and the staff and the servants' quarters, between the serving in the temple, and that's just the spirit. She's excited. She says, wow, I've heard about you, I've heard about your wisdom, but what I've heard is actually half of what I have seen. So she is rather a customer that is satisfied. She goes there and she comes back and says, you know what I've seen versus what I've heard, what I've seen is actually more. It reminds me the verse in the Bible that says, show thyself approved. You would want when people are coming to you, you have substance. You can really speak substance, and they can actually go back saying, now we know that person is surely a Christian. So the lady goes there and is happy, and Solomon answers the questions, and she's presenting her gifts, and Solomon also reciprocates, and the lady, after having seen all this and being wowed and everything, she bids farewell and she goes back home. So it looks like just an ordinary story, right? But you see, there's some lessons that we can learn here, especially as ladies. Come close, ladies, come close. You see, this lady, she is surviving in a time when women are not seen as people of value. Their opinions don't necessarily matter. Of course, where she's coming from, she's a queen, but it doesn't take away that this is Solomon we're talking about. That's Solomon, the king, right? And this is the wisest man in the land. And this woman, from wherever she's coming from, she tells herself, I'm going to ask him the hard questions, and I'm going to hear if he is able to answer. Just from that thought, it shows me that this woman had a lot of confidence in herself. She looks at Solomon and sees a colleague. You're a king, I'm a queen. Right? She does not reduce herself in fear because the society says she's small. She does not reduce herself because Solomon is very wise and she isn't. No. This woman looks at this man and says, I'm going to test if he is what I've heard. And when she realizes that he is actually more than what she has heard, she is excited. Very few, most of us as women, when we find another person that has more power than ourselves, when we find another person that has reached the level that we wish we could reach, in most cases, we struggle with the idea of embracing and marveling and being able to say, I want to also emulate, this is beautiful. We have a problem of wanting to pull that person down. Why? When we see that they have so much wisdom and so much power, they're commanding so much respect more than ourselves, we quickly run to fear. We feel inferior. Now when we have fear, we feel like, okay, this person is here, I'm lower. So we start feeling inferior. And because we are feeling inferior, we try to drag that person down so that they also feel inferior and now we're on the same level. But this woman shows a different virtue, right? She sees Solomon and the wisdom, and she's excited. And I would like to believe that this woman aspired or wanted also to have, or she really enjoyed the wisdom of Solomon because she would also, right? She had a taste for wisdom. She had a palate for wisdom, right? Because you cannot be intrigued or you cannot be excitable about things that you don't care about. So the order, the fashion, the uniformity on the table, the cutlery that is bought, the place, the dinnerware, the way the staff wears their uniforms and present themselves, and the way they carry on with their work and the way they serve, she's excitable because it's something that she admires. So she has a taste for excellence. She has a taste for fine things. She has a taste for success. She has a taste, like it appeals to her palate, right? She can actually see herself becoming that, leading like that, though she hasn't reached that level. So this woman, surviving in such a community, in such an environment, stands tall, sees this man, and she could actually visualize herself, right? She could visualize herself leading like this man. Even if she's a woman in such a society, she stands out and says, she can actually look at Solomon and say, he inspires me to be a better person, right? In a society that does not take any value from a woman. So I want us as women to understand that sometimes we like using, perhaps it could be the past, it could be how we were treated when we were young, it could be how we were treated at some point in our workplace, it could be how we are being treated in our work, it could be our environment where we are right now, that we are using as an excuse that, you see, I cannot rise above because my opinions don't matter, because they don't take my opinions anyway, because, no. This woman looks at this Solomon and sees a colleague that she can actually present hard questions. And because, of course, Solomon has got that extra wisdom, he's able to answer. But the fact that she looks at Solomon and sees someone that she can question, and that she can actually present questions that she can deem as hard, and be able to talk face to face with Solomon, it shows that she did not do anything in fear. She boldly presented herself before the king and said her piece. How many of us in such an environment we're going to stand up and really do what this woman did? Very few. Why? Because we get so scared. We fear a lot. As ladies, we have everything that we need. It's embedded in us to become the best versions of ourselves.